welcome everyone. We are so thrilled to be partnering with Heather Chauvin in my world. She's an amazing leadership coach, author, and guide to thousands of ambitious women. So this session is being recorded just as a heads up. We encourage you to use Zoom chat to share thoughts or questions throughout. And with that, I will hand it over to Heather to introduce herself.
Thank you, Mona. Okay, so
Um,
I am super, super excited. I was just looking at my calendar and I was like, is this an hour? Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It looked about 45 minutes or so. So it will give me a really good runway to introduce myself. But for those that are listening, I want to be able to give you some practical guidance as well. And I do have kind of like a next step for you after, so that you can integrate this information into your life. I'm going to share a PDF with you, but I do have free resources. I have paid resources. And so it's really just about where you are at and meeting you there. So just to give you a quick background, I am the founder of, or the podcast host for Emotionally Uncomfortable. It's called Emotionally Uncomfortable. My book is called Dying to Be a Good Mother. And there are kind of like some key points around my story that I briefly want to talk about. So I'm raising three boys. They're currently 20, 15, and 12. And my 20-year-old, I was 18 years old when I became a mother. And so that was that was my first like aha moment of like what I called not this, not this. But there was a deep like primal fear that I had of failure. And I didn't want to feel like I was failing at this primal like role as a woman, as a mother. At the same time, I was going to school for social work. I got the pinnacle social work job. And so I was really in that like therapeutic world, that therapy world. And being the mother, but also being the quote unquote therapist or the person that was working with these families, like frontline with these families, what I noticed was this huge cultural disconnect that we had, because I was going home at night and I too had the exact same challenges of like, how do I stop yelling? How do I get my kid to listen to me? How do I manage my own energy? Like, how do I not burn out? So all of these things. So for anyone that's listening to this, obviously, if you're live versus listening to the recording, if there's anything that I say, like, please create engagement and post in the chat below. But when I started to see like my own challenges as a mother, and then I started to see the cultural questions, the cultural things that were coming up for these children in the disconnect, I truly, truly, truly felt like there would be solutions with the experts. And I'm using air quotes, experts. So I did the things. I went to the doctors, I went to therapy, I did all the things, but the feedback I was getting was like, suck it up, buttercup. Like, this is it. And then when my son started school, he was around 4 or 5 years old. That's when the behaviors started to show up. That's when would get the calls from the school saying like, your son did this, your son did that. And my first thought was, okay, tell me what to do. Like, I'm going to be a good mom, right? Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like goodness. And like there was this like blank stare of like, you need to solve this problem. Like I needed to solve this problem. And I thought, but you have more experience raising children than I do. Like you are an educator. You've been at this for far much longer than me. Like guide me. I'm a good student. I will take action on what you tell me to do. But too often the problems were about labeling behavior or punishing behavior, but there was no root cause to the behavior. So the other thing I want to say about this, just to go back for a second, is when I was a teenager, as you could imagine, becoming a mom at a young age, like I knew what it felt to not feel seen and heard and understand my energy. Okay. So I didn't understand why I was experiencing depression. I didn't understand why I was experiencing anxiety. I didn't understand all of these things. And it left me feeling depressed, miserable, depleted. And of course, culturally, the responses that I was getting from adults was, come on, let's go. Like, you're lazy, get motivated, like all the things that I was supposed to do. Fast forward in 2013, as I am starting to build my business, as I'm starting to courageously leave my social work job and like go, okay, there's something more here, there's something more here. What happened was I was diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. And my book title is Dying to Be a Good Mother because I had 9 years of personal development under my belt. I had 9 years of trying to be good and doing all the things right, like checking the boxes and doing the logistical things right. But that spiritual side, there was something off and I knew it. And I remember when my diagnosis happened, I said to myself, okay, all of that was for the training for this moment. And you now have to make a choice. And there was this invisible box that I checked off. That invisible box was what I call like the permission slip, or like, I will no longer suffer. I will no longer get to this moment. Like, I will not allow myself get to a survival or a crisis state ever again, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. So since then, I have been working, and previous to my diagnosis, I've been working with women, helping them essentially figure out how they want to feel and learning how to reverse engineer that both at home and in their work. So oftentimes when people come to me, their symptoms are some type of behavior, some disconnect, some, whether it's revenue, money, if they're in corporate, their career is sucking the life out of them. They're like, I don't know where to start. I'm trying to change careers. That's not doing it. My marriage is on the rocks. I don't know how to emotionally react and respond. I can't read and understand my children's behavior. So I take a very holistic perspective, and my goal is to help you as the woman become well-resourced. Because I think when you have time, energy, and financial resources, you are literally going to change the world. And that is what the world needs, of course, now more than ever. Because you are the keystone of your family. You are the keystone of the ecosystem in which everybody comes to you. And we are taught culturally to give, 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 and never give to ourselves. And it kills you. It kills you really slowly. Like, I'm just going to be radically honest. It kills your connection, your relationships, your bank account, like it kills these things externally. And we just keep telling ourselves, it's okay, this is life, this is life. And then, it never gets better. And if you don't do this work, it never gets better, because people say, when September comes, when my kids get older, when, next season. And we lie to ourselves. We lie to ourselves on a daily basis to cope, to survive. And something will happen in your life. So if I'm telling you this, I'm also like a truth teller, because I really want to be able to take a stand for you. I want to be able to take a stand for the woman that I know, the emotional pain that you are hiding, the emotional discomfort that you are hiding. And I really, really, really encourage you to be open and curious that there is another way to be in the world. There is another way to mother. There is another way to work. There is another way to take care of yourself. So after 2013, and, as I was building my business, and I'm, was hearing from my clients, I don't have time. I don't have energy. I don't have the time to implement this, Heather. This is great, but I don't have the time. Time. I realized time is so connected to how we manage our energy. And time is also deeply, deeply connected to what's in our bank account. And so it's all connected. So we work on one bucket at a time. So now I'm going to dive in. That's kind of like my background and my story. Again, if you go to the podcast, Emotionally Uncomfortable, my book, Dying to Be a Good Mother, follow me on Instagram. It is me who also replies to my messages on Instagram. So just find my name at Heather Chauvin, and send me a private message. Let me know that you listened to this and your biggest takeaway. Okay, now I want to get into some of the content that I teach people. So this is like a program that I run, but we're going to do some work together. There's a whole process that I take you through step by step by step by step to get to where you want to go and help you buy back your time and your energy. But there's one journal prompt that I want to do with you. There's actually four of them, or three of, oh, look, I have a spelling mistake. There's four of them, but we're going to use this one. Wouldn't it be nice if? So this is a journal prompt. So write it down. Wouldn't it be nice if, that I like to use myself? I use it all the time. Every time I have a challenge, every time I am trying to figure something out. This journal prompt is not asking what's your to-do list? What goals do you have? I'm asking you, wouldn't it be nice if? And I want you to just give yourself 5 minutes, and I'll just probably give you like 1 minute here. But I want to just encourage you to give yourself 5 minutes to use this journal prompt and to just write whatever comes to mind. And whatever comes to mind might be, wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to work so much? Wouldn't it be nice if I could have a glass of water? To wouldn't it be nice if I didn't worry about, my son's neurodivergence? Wouldn't it be nice if my husband and I, or my partner and I, communicated better? I want you to physically just write out every desire that comes out for you. And if you're doing this now, I'll be quiet for like 60 seconds, and then we'll go to the next step. The whole goal, I'll be quiet, but the whole goal of what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you step by step through a process. It's called energetic time management. And this is how I help people put their soul back on the calendar. So I solve the problem when people say, I need balance, I need integration. I don't actually believe in balance, but I do believe that strong, ambitious women, I mean, all women are strong, but they're carrying way too much, need to figure out how to manage all of the balls, all of the plates, right? Because the first thing you're going to do is drop everything if your children need you, but you still got bills to pay, right? You still got children to feed. So it's like, how do we, not focus all the way over here in work land and neglect our family or neglect connection, and then live with regret and feel like deep shame and guilt all the time? And then, of course, how do we go over here, spending our time with our kids, doing the things we need to do, and going, yeah, I'm grateful that I have this together, but how can I still fulfill like my needs? Like, how can I have a sense of identity and purpose? And the reality is, I still need to pay the bills if you are somebody who's financially contributing to the home. But if you're not, it's also like, how can I just do something that's more meaningful and more fulfilling? Because parenting full time is not necessarily going to be that fulfilling all the time. Like a lot of women say, this should be enough, but it's not. And it shouldn't, because we have a deep soul desire to have impact and meaning in our lives. And it doesn't have to be just through the vessel of parenting. And if I'm being radically honest, sometimes we do that and we over nurture and over mother. And then we're kind of like, we're kind of controlling our kids a little too much, and they can feel it, and we become a burden to them. They become resentful and angry, and we kind of stunt their growth. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. I want you pen to paper or just open the notes section in your app. And Mona, I don't know if you're going to be my little guinea pig. I won't put you on the hot seat too much, but maybe I might ask you one question. It doesn't
You
have to be
bet.
that comfortable.
Sounds good.
Uh, but yeah, I will pause myself and I'll give you a minute to do this journal prompt. Wouldn't it be nice if everything just whatever your soul is craving? Okay. Again, I'm going to jam pack this hour with magic, so I'm going to keep going. Wouldn't it be nice if? So we're going to have big things. And again, I use this in my work as well. I think about individuals, I think about team members, I think about my husband, I think about each individual child. Like you can use it in tiny categories, or you could use it as like a big overview thing. So, Mona, I would like to, I don't want to pick on you, but like, what is one item, one line item that you have on your wouldn't it be nice list?
Um, so I am just starting my matrescence motherhood coaching and parent coaching business. So a huge thing is, wouldn't it be nice if I could feel abundance? And that is in exactly what you're talking about, abundant in time, abundant in energy, abundant in finances, and almost all of that unto greater choice with how I spend my days.
Beautiful. So I'm going to pretend that you didn't use abundance in there. Um,
Mhm.
so we'll make it super practical. Like, wouldn't it be nice if I had more time to work on my business?
Mhm.
Like that would probably be like a line item, right?
Sure,
Okay.
definitely.
Wouldn't it- So, and then if I asked you, so step two is what
Mhm.
is the feeling that you're after? You kind of
Mhm.
gave it away, which is totally fine, which is
Mhm.
abundance, right?
Mhm.
So the goal here is you go line by line and start asking yourself. So thank you, Mona. Start asking yourself, what is the feeling that I'm after? So I like to tell this story because it's not the thing you want, it's the feeling. But we can still want the things. But this is why people burn out. This is why they become incredibly disconnected. And this is why they become resentful. Because all of our emotions are here to teach us something. And when we know what we want, and we don't need to overcomplicate this, most of the time when I'm working with people, they are telling me, like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And I'm like, you have to be mindful as well, because sometimes we tell ourselves a story to keep ourselves safe. Because if I don't know, then I don't need to take action. But the goal here of what I'm trying to tell you is, wouldn't it be nice if those are your desires? The next step is, how do I want to feel? Now, you need to be able to put that feeling on your calendar. So, if you look at your line items, what is the common feeling that you are all after? So, for those of you that are here, if you could write like the common theme that you're seeing in your list of how you actually want to feel, write that down. So, Megan, Nadine, Elena, Angela, like what is the common feeling? Ease. Awesome. Beautiful. So if anyone else wants to type, that would be appreciated. Ease. Okay, so here's the goal. I always hear I want to feel supported, focused, ease, peace of mind, like peace. Nobody ever says I want to be in debt, I want to feel like crap, I want to feel like shit, I want to feel burnt out. Like nobody says that to me, right? Like we have the desire for more. We have the desire for support, connection, but we are not living in alignment with our desires. And here's the thing that people have to understand is we don't see our value as women. Like we don't actually see the impact we have at home, but you see it when you remove yourself, right? Like we talk a lot about the invisible load, but um, you see it from how like all the work that you do. So we desire to feel supported. We desire to feel peace of mind, but we're expecting external forces to dictate how we feel. So chaos can be happening around me. And I know exactly where to focus my energy and attention to feel the way that I want to feel based on what is coming at me. So, relief from pressure. Pressure is a privilege, but also what type of pressure are you under, right? Where do you need to focus to relieve pressure, but also using pressure to catapult you into your next level vision? So, now that we know this, again, this is module 3. I can show you how you guys can get access to this if you want, since I'm my membership. We need to get clear and start acting as if. So many of us live from a place of lack, live in a state of victim and martyrdom, where it's like, poor me, poor me, poor me. I see it every day. I even still catch it within myself where I'm acting like a victim. Like I actually don't have the ability to create how I want to feel in my life. Um, and it's fascinating to observe and watch. So again, high level overview today. And actually, I'll probably just post it here. So I'm going to talk about the 4 types of energy in a second. But I do have a membership where you get access to all these modules. It goes step by step. And then I have live calls where we're going through this as well. So there's 4 types of energy. I think culturally we're really, really good at managing physical energy. So physical energy is your action steps. Physical energy is your to-do list. Physical energy is planning and strategy. And it's also your body, which I think culturally we're getting a little bit better of like understanding that we have to really manage our physical energy and take care of ourselves. But a lot of people don't talk about mental, emotional, and spiritual energy. Spiritual energy to me has nothing to do with religion. Those are your desires. And again, it's your personal relationship to what that means to you. So again, when you go back to your wouldn't it be nice list, whatever is on that list is for you. So if I say, if the desire is inside of you, it is literally created for you to attend to. If you keep abandoning those desires, like, wouldn't it be nice if I had a glass of water? That is something simple, okay? And you're like, oh, I don't have time to drink. I don't have time to drink. Like your body is going to show you symptoms, and what you resist will persist and grow bigger. So if you look at your wouldn't it be nice list every day, you say, I am valuable enough to meet my needs. This is where magic is going to unfold. This is where you're going to start feeling more alive, more energized, energetic, right? Time management, and also more integrated into your life. You're going to start to feel more abundant. So when people follow this process, again, they're building the capacity to have presence with their children. They're not yelling anymore. They are not reactive. They can advocate and communicate their needs. They're creating connection in their relationships. They feel more confident in their careers, and they're gaining momentum. Now, mental and emotional. This is like where I really dig into. So mental energy is just the stories you tell yourself. So a simple one, I don't have time. Great. Whatever you think is true. I can't afford it. Great. Whatever you think will be true. You have to realize that your thoughts are not facts. Your thoughts are not facts. If you say something and you believe it, what happens? You start living from that place, right? You start, I don't have time. Your identity is wrapped up in somebody who doesn't have time. So you start living and acting like you don't have time versus, oh man, I still believe I don't have time, and going, but if I did, I'm going to act as if I did have time. How would I show up differently? How would I communicate differently? What boundaries would I hold? So you show up, you lead differently. Okay. Emotional energy. Emotional energy is emotional intelligence. This is my area of expertise, emotional regulation, all the fun things. Nobody wants to hang out here. This is why my podcast is called Emotionally Uncomfortable. So here's some tips or tricks, okay? If you teach, and this is like, I'm talking as a former therapist who left therapy and was like, let's stop talking about our problems and let's create solutions to our emotions so that we can get quicker results and step into the future. There's absolutely no reason why you need to ruminate and talk about something for years and years and years. It is nice to unpack what has happened to us, but when we hang out in our head too long, we're stuck, we're trapped. So oftentimes people will come to me when they have been to therapy and they're like, I'm ready for the next step. And I always tell people there's a time and a place for everything. But you wouldn't go to your dentist if you broke your leg. And so we are trying to solve unique next level problems with mainstream solutions. And so I often work with the people that are like, I need, I'm ambitious. I need something next level and I need support. I need to be challenged. And I'm ready to step up and into this new identity because my kids need me to be a different version of myself. And I need to lead and show up and guide, and I need to become well resourced. So some pro tips with emotional energy. If you treat your emotions like toddlers, and you meet their needs, they will stop bugging you. So people might go, what the heck does that mean? Right? Mona's like, okay, prove it. What does that mean? So I want to tell you that if you are chronically overwhelmed, chronically anxious, chronically afraid to take action, like even pressure, we're going to talk about this. Pressure, feeling disorganized, lack of focus, angry, resentful. It's all there to get your attention. It's a symptom. It's a symptom. So oftentimes what we try to do is we try to diagnose and we try to label. I'm all for all of those things, but I'm also, I want to live a really, really good life. I have one precious life and I don't want to waste it. Time to me is my most valuable asset. And I just do not want to waste my time because I can't generate more of it. So I really, really value every 60 seconds of my life. So emotional energy. So let's say I'm sitting here and I'm feeling very overwhelmed, very anxious, burnt out, angry, resentful. I'm going to ask myself two questions. The first question is, why are you here? Second question is, what do you need for me to do? Or sorry, what do you need to feel safe to leave my body? This is where we create connection and intimacy with ourselves. And I think I've been doing this for most of my life, but definitely after my diagnosis, I really had to co-create with my body. I really had to co-create with my life. I had to develop deep, deep trust and knowing and intuition with myself. And so this helped me do that. So if I'm sitting here and I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to close my eyes. And again, I'm giving you super high level here. If you're like, tell me your ways, Heather, how can we do this one-on-one? Just send me a message on Instagram and I can dive deeper with you. So overwhelm. I close my eyes. I first identify like how I am actually feeling overwhelmed. Like, where is the overwhelm in my being? How do I know that I'm experiencing it? So it may be tightness in my chest, it may be my head. And then I bring my energy and attention to the one spot that is screaming at me. So it might be racing thoughts, it might be tightness in my chest. And I go there and I go, overwhelm. Why are you here? And you need to trust the first thought that comes to mind. So the first thought may be to get your attention. And you may go, I have no idea what this woman is talking about. This is so outside my comfort zone. That's okay too. You may need to sit with yourself. This is, I guess, a form of meditation. You might need to sit with yourself for 5 minutes a day. I mean, you could do this while you're driving. You could do this while you're in the bathroom. You could do this while you're doing dishes, like changing a diaper. You have capacity to do this, and you just go, overwhelmed, why are you here? And if I go, it's getting you overwhelmed, why are you here? To get your attention. Okay. Now I'm going to ask, overwhelmed, what do you need from me to feel safe to leave my body? Overwhelmed, what do you need from me to feel safe to leave my body? The knowing is sit down, get organized, and take the next right step. And if I don't know how to do that, that's where I get help. I seek support. I am not the type that I have no belief that I need to do everything myself. That literally almost killed me. And there is a lot of shame for women about asking for help because they're like embarrassed or like fear, like a lot of shame or guilt comes up. But that's actually the pattern that is stopping you from getting what you want. So I go and seek out mentorship from people who've already solved the problems that I am having a hard time solving. Usually I'll just, send them a message on Instagram. Yes, some people are like complicated funnels and all the things. And I'm like, prove it, show me, give me some value. How did you solve this problem? And I kind of test people. And if I can develop relationships, like if I'm like, okay, they actually know what they're talking about, they give me like real good value, like they're going to hold me, they're going to hold my hand through this process. That's how I know I'm getting the right support. So the other thing I want to say about supported is we're not supporting ourselves like at all. We're seeking external validation. We're hiring people. We're, expecting people to be somebody that they're not. Like we need to trust people when they show us who they are. So I'll give you an example. My husband. So there was many times during our relationship and our journey where I was like, I don't feel supported. I don't feel supported. And instead of like screaming, yelling, like anger, resentment, what I needed to do is that realize like, where am I not supporting myself? And a lot of that was I wasn't holding boundaries of where to meet and support my needs. So I want to recap. I would love to know, because there's 20 minutes left. I would love to know your, again, there's a lot of content. I would love to know your biggest takeaway so far and what you're walking away with. And then I'm going to give you kind of like a wrap up. If anyone wants to post in the chat below or unmute or anything. Mona, anything sticking out for you?
It's also good. Um, I think continuing to come back to anchoring into like that clarity and getting organized around how do I want to feel. I remember that and then I get going in my days and I forget. We have people asking if you can repeat the question again, as far as, oh, you wrote biggest takeaway. Yeah, so some Angela said it's worth my time to take care of myself. Yeah, reminding myself that I'm worthy. And then I was sharing just coming back to self-questioning and asking how I want to feel as a way to guide me to the next level. That's one
Yeah.
of my takeaways.
So I am not motivated to take care of myself. I don't care about taking care of myself at all. I am highly motivated to serve my family and to take care of my team and my community. So I have to convince myself on a daily basis that what I need to do in small bites is serving other people and not for myself. I am very selfless in the sense that I am not motivated for anything for myself. And I actually, I mean, I can debunk or kind of reverse engineer that. I think it's incredibly selfish because the story we tell ourselves is as women, taking care of myself is selfish. And I actually think you are being highly selfish by not taking care of yourself because you actually become a burden to other people. And I say all of this with love. Like I say it for your highest good because um just think about anyone if they're living in the sandwich generation and you think about your parents and like if there's an energetic burden on you because that person refuses to take care of themselves in a certain way, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, and the weight that you carry because that person refuses to do that work on themselves. Does that make sense? So I look at the people I'm responsible for, and I am the breadwinner. I am the sole income earner. My husband works with me in the company. That obviously, well, that you wouldn't know, but that wasn't always the case. My mother lives with us, and we have three growing boys. That this cultural conversation that the older they get, the easier it gets is such a lie because it actually requires you to show up. In a much bigger way. Like what you resist will persist and grow bigger. And there will come a time in your life or a season when you can no longer like avoid something. So money as an example, a lot of women that I work with, we work on cash plans, revenue plans, whether they're in corporate or self-employed. And, I literally hold their hand and like, take this action, now do this action, now do this, now do this. And they're making the money and they're like, oh my gosh. And I was like, listen, we got to get ahead of this because what's going to happen if, a kid gets sick? What's going to happen if, during the holiday downtime, the summer downtime, like you need to get ahead and be profitable. There is nothing selfish about having extra. It's actually being of highest service to your people. During COVID, I had the capacity and the financial resources to give back to the community. So I could donate my time and financial resources. I was not in a crisis state. And I thought, this is interesting. This is a pandemic where I can give back. And all of these people that are living in a survival and crisis state, who weren't proactive and are reactive, and I'm not saying like by any means, you just have to learn from life. When I was diagnosed, I was in a crisis state in many areas of my life because I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I said to myself, I will never get back there. And so I worked my ass off to have more time, more energy, more resources to give back to the community. So the more you thrive, everyone wins. And so I think if you can remember that, it is selfish and a burden not to take care of yourself and become financially resourced. And you don't need to know how. Like you literally don't need to know how. The first step is I'm ready to create change. Like I surrender. I have the desire and the vision, and I don't know what I don't know. So I do want to share with you like one other step of the process in my energetic time management journey. And here's some quick tips and strategies. But I do have a membership. It's $297 a month, like $297 a month. And it is a very robust membership. There is also a business version of that. So if people are, we help you with marketing, we help you with sales. I literally start where you're at, and not everybody, like I work with women on all professions. So we kind of have two paths, the personal and professional path. But you can just join for 1 month, cancel anytime. And when you join, we have weekly live calls where we are teaching you the modules over and over and over again. We also have what I call mentors who reach out to you one-on-one. And they're like, Hey, Megan, how's it going? Where are you stuck? What do you need? And like, we're literally spoon feeding you because my woman has a lot on her plate and she's like, I have the desire and the dreams to change. I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I need to figure out how to figure out emotional regulation so I can stop yelling and be 100% here for my kids and support them. But I also, I have all these other buckets I need to fill. So we have the buckets, we have the solutions to the buckets, and then we help you create focus plans to do that. So energetic time management is one of those modules, and that's like the core of it. So another quick tip is when you're sitting here going, okay, Heather, I did my wouldn't it be nice list. Like I know what my dreams and desires are. I now know how I want to feel. This is the practical application of this. Okay. So I use a paper calendar. I also use my Google Calendar. So you can have a digital calendar, you can have a paper calendar. And I like paper because it's more of, I mean, I use my digital, but I like paper when I'm planning because I don't see the worlds on my calendar. I also, it just feels like a blank slate and like a journal, like pen to paper. And there is some psychology and science around pen to paper, and actually how it like calms your nervous system and stuff. So regardless of how advanced AI is and where it's going, like, you know, we can't outsource problem solving and critical thinking skills. We still need that creative brain power to live a quality life. We're not robots here, right? So one of the number one things that I do is I brain dump every day. I just use my journal, I open it up, and I like to categorize. So if I'm sitting here and I'm overwhelmed, my physical energy management, okay, would be I put everything into buckets. And so of course, my pen's not going to work. It's not sexy. I just create little buckets in my journal and I brain dump. So it could be work, it could be kids, it could be whatever. And every thought that I have, I just put it in the category. So it might be a to-do list. Sometimes my brain dump doesn't even make sense. I'm just doing pages to like dump it all out. So this is a form of energy management. So I dump it all out. Okay. But let's pretend that my brain dump is a to-do list. Okay. And I'm categorizing it. So we also know how you want to feel because we figured that out. So your feelings are ease, abundance, pressure, da, da, da. So I then I do a few things. So I call them needle movers. I didn't create that term. It's also called like revenue generating activities, cash generating activities, joy generating activities. It really is dependent on your focus. This is also something I support people with. So I go to every category that I have after I've brain dumped and I ask myself, what is number one, like 1 to 3 things that I need to act on? Okay, so let me give you an example. In the self category, I might have go for a walk. But I'm in a state of overwhelm and I'm like, I don't have capacity and I'm just going to take that right off my calendar. I call it the 10-minute habit. Just bring it down to 10 minutes, okay? 10, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. If you could do something for 10 minutes, you are actually starting to change your brain chemistry. So I don't care about the actual walk itself. What I care about is breaking habits. If I can break my behavioral habits, I can change my life. So if I'm telling myself the story, my mental energy, I don't have time to walk, I don't have time to walk, I'm like, yes, I do. I'm going to figure this out. So I will put it down for 10 minutes on my calendar. Okay. So I'm going to each category that I created based on my brain dump. This is just an example. And I'm circling 1 to 3 items. So I'm like, what's the highest leverage action thing here that's going to give me exactly what I need? Most likely it's the thing that you're avoiding. Pro tip, it's the thing you're avoiding. So if you're like, I need to do that, ooh, I don't want to do that. It's going to take you 10 minutes and it's just like, do the damn thing, take the pressure off. Okay. So it's wrapped in resistance. The resistance is where the magic happens. But here's the challenge. Everyone wants the freedom on the other side, but they don't want to feel their feelings. So you're going to feel more fear. You're going to feel more pressure before you feel free. You have to go through it, not around it. So the more you run, I call it circle the pool. The longer you circle the pool, the more time you're wasting, the more time you're wasting with your family, the more time you're wasting living your best life. So I now am the type of person that just jumps in the pool. I work a few hours a day, and everything else is based on health and family. I do spend a lot of time strategizing in my mind, but I live a very integrated life now. So when I'm working with people, I'm like, what do you need to do on a daily basis for 20 minutes at a time, maybe 3 20-minute action items to get to where you want to go as quick as possible. So there's something I do called time and energy audits with people once they're in the membership. And it's fascinating. Myself and my team go through it, and I'm like, 80% of where you're focusing your time and energy is a distraction, and it's busy work. And they just can't fathom that they've been living in a state of survival mode and convinced themselves that parenting and life is so difficult. And that's the hard part, is changing your identity. So once you've put these action items on your calendar, 10 minutes at a time. So tiny. Remember, I'm looking back at my action steps, okay? And I'm putting them on my physical calendar, because if you do not allocate time, you will not do it. So how many of you have ever been on Zoom at 12 till 12 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock, you have a doctor's appointment across town, and you did not put drive time on your calendar? There is no logical reason that you are going to transmute or transport yourself across town, right? So this is when you're living in a mental survival state. I can tell when people are like, I can tell based on people's energy and how they lead. I'm like, she is living in a survival state. She's going to crash and burn out, and her life is going to implode. But she keeps convincing herself, I got this, I got this, I got this. And I was like, all right, you got this. But also, I lose respect for people that manage their energy like that. I would much rather work, collaborate, be in partnerships with people who know how to manage their energy. So this is something I make my whole team do. I teach teams how to do this. This is something that my whole family uses. And of course, I had to lead, I had to start. And we get way more done because we are proactive, not reactive. So I put it on the calendar. And then, of course, you're going to put your plan into action. When you put your plan into action, what do you think is going to happen? Resistance. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it perfectly. This is where, again, that mental and emotional energy management is key. And it's a skill. It's a rinse and repeat. And this is what we do inside of the membership. There's no expectation of perfection here. The expectation is that you are learning to create momentum and becoming the person that does these things, because more information is not your issue. It is integrating it. And so I'm all about doing less better and teaching people how to lead their lives, and getting things done and being productive. I am not like, you want connection, you want freedom, but most people don't know how to get there or how to focus. And focus is a skill. I mean, if I went for a diagnosis, I'm definitely perimenopausal. Hormones do affect my focus. I would probably be on the spectrum somewhere of neurodivergence. Most entrepreneurs that I know have a touch of something. And my kids definitely do too. This is a skill. And so if we tell ourselves, like, I just can't, I can't, it's not me, I can't focus, I'm disorganized, you get to keep what you defend. So if you keep defending that story and you're not like, you know what, I'm willing to try, you gotta figure it out. So I look at my calendar. I also look at what I didn't do, and I start to pay attention as to why I didn't do it. Was my expectations unrealistic? Did I let somebody else, kind of kibosh and take over? Like, what's really going on here? Okay. If you don't take anything away from me today, the nightly check-in is what I want you to walk away with. So if you're like, this woman said a lot of things, this is it. Just listen to me. Blank slate. Nothing else I said to you matters. This matters. I don't care about your morning routine. Focus on the night. The most stressful time for women is in the morning. You get out of bed, you're like a bat out of hell, especially when there's school, you're trying to get out of the house, you're trying to do all the things. There's a lot of energy in the morning. You can manage that at night. So at night, I do a nightly check-in. I look at my calendar the next day and I ask myself, how do I want to feel? And if my day does not feel in alignment with how I want to feel. So if I'm like, oh, I need space, right? I'm looking at my wouldn't it be nice list and I keep saying spacious, spacious, and tomorrow doesn't feel spacious. Maybe I can't create that space tomorrow. But you know what else I can do? I might be able to create space on the weekend. I might be able to do it the following week. I can be a little proactive, even if it's 4 weeks out. Okay. But I always like to tell the story, the nightly check-in. So when my son, my middle son was little, like he's definitely got some sensory stuff. Oh my gosh, the damn socks. Okay. So every morning we would get in an argument about the socks. And one day at night, I was like, where? I was determined. I was like, where do we get into frustration the next day? It's not the lunches. The lunches are like we make that the night before. The lunches are handled. Okay, now we got clothes. Da 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 da. Like every day, I was like, "What is it? What is it?" And I was like, "It's the damn socks." So I said to him, "What socks will you wear?" And there was like one pair of socks. Okay, so I threw out every other pair of socks that he owned. And I went, we had one pair of socks. So he wore it every day for like a week until I had additional socks. And I scoured the internet and I found the exact sock that he would wear. And I bought like 30 pairs of it. And I was like, any story or chaos or drama or me yelling and all the frustration, I was like, are you kidding me? This solved my problem. And I, instead of trying to get my child to be somebody that he's not, because he's highly sensitive, I was like, this works for you. We're going to do it. He likes routine. We're going to do it over and over and over again. And we're going to figure it out. And it eased up so much of our stress and frustration in the morning. The other part of that was he was already stressed out about going to school. So I knew it wasn't necessarily about the socks. So my point of the nightly check-in is to ask yourself, how do I want to feel? What do I need for the next day? And I always do this. I look at my meetings for the next day. I ask myself, do I have the Zoom links? Do I have the address? Do I know where I'm going? And it's a habit. But like I check in with people. I'm like, excited to see you tomorrow. And they're like, yep, can't wait. And then sometimes they're like, oh, I forgot about that call. And I was like, great. Now I bought back time because you weren't going to show up anyways. So just the nightly check-in is so good. And the whole point of everything else that I'm telling you is just ask yourself, is this in alignment with how I want to feel? Everything that we're doing here is like, you're not a robot. Like energetic time management is about living a life that's in alignment. You are still going to have to do things you don't want to do. Like you want to ease pressure. Great. People are like, I want to feel safe. And I was like, great. But before you want to feel safe, you're going to feel unsafe. And your lack of safety might get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you may have to look at your fear of failure before you lean in. So I call it being a buffalo. So buffaloes run towards the storm and cows run away from the storm. So cows are actually in the storm longer because they run away from the discomfort of the storm. Buffaloes go through it. So they're on the other side so much quicker. So I'm always encouraging my clients, I was like, be a buffalo, like, let's go. Like it literally is going to, you're going to be uncomfortable for 30 seconds and then you'll be on the other side to freedom. And we're literally holding your hand through this process. So if you show up and you say, I surrender, I need help, we're there for you. So the membership is a great place to start. It's an easy lift for people. I'm like, just join for a month, test it out, gain some momentum. You get instant access to the PDFs, the modules. My team is in touch, and we do have like a next level after that where people get one-on-one, more one-on-one, like with me and all of that. But you're still involved in the curriculum, but I can give you more strategy and stuff like that. And then we just credit your membership. So sometimes people come in and they're like, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe you're only charging $297 or $497 for the business stuff. I'm like, I know, I just want you to become well resourced. And I truly, truly believe that, I don't know why I get emotional when I say this, but like, we're living in a time. So I get emotional because one of my biggest challenges was in 2020, my oldest was really struggling with his mental health as a teenager. And um, I just had to show up as the adult that I needed as a child and show up as the adult that he needed. And um, I truly believe the work that I do saved his life. And I just see so many women struggling, struggling, struggling beyond me almost dying from stage 4 cancer. Um, my why is to make sure that my children never feel the way that I felt as a child, but also I just don't want to pass down my crap onto them. And, they still gotta wipe their own ass. They gotta clean their room. They gotta show up. But I would rather be an empowered guide for them than, a burden or a nag or somebody who's just yelling constantly. And I truly, truly feel, and the hardest part about my job is getting women to believe that they're very capable if they're willing to ask for help and do 20 minutes at a time. The women in my community are changing generational patterns. They're showing up for their neurodivergent children. They're advocating. They're making more money. They're saving their marriages, or they're transitioning through separation with ease. And yeah, so at the end of the day, if you don't take anything from me, everyone always asks me at the end of a podcast or something, what's your message? What's your takeaway? And I just say, you were the secret you're searching for. And the more alive you become, the more energized you feel, everything falls into place. And we don't need to overcomplicate starting a business or making more money or finding your purpose or being a perfect parent. If you implement energetic time management, you feel lighter and you have more capacity to show up as the people in your life need you to be. So that is my sermon for today. So thank you, Mona,
Preach,
Auggie
preach.
community. Yeah, go check out the podcast, Emotionally Uncomfortable, free resources. I have like over 1,200 episodes there. The book,
Mm.
Dying to Be a Good Mother, can be anywhere books are sold online. And send me a message on Instagram. Or if you want to come closer and, more done with you, then check out the membership.
Oh, Heather, thank you. That, like you were saying, packing in the magic in this hour,
Yeah.
asking ourselves, wouldn't it be nice if, and getting organized and clear about how we want to feel, and how your program is offering us to do that in 10-minute habit chunks that feels doable. And this nightly check in, and this way in which ultimately, like you're saying, we're showing up in our lives for ourselves and for our families in ways that are truly life saving. And we are worth it as mothers, and our families are worth it. So, Heather, thank you so much. We can continue this conversation if people want to inside the app. We are so grateful for your magic that you're putting out there. And thank you, everybody. Is there anything else, Heather, you want to add right before we end?
No, just yeah, give yourself permission to feel good and
Mm.
just lean in. This is like an inside job, and a lot of the women that I work with don't tell people they're doing this work, sometimes their partner too. Um, and then it's changing when someone says, "You're different. Like, what's going on?" And you're like, "It's working, it's working." So, we're in very unique times. I work with a lot of people who have a lot on their plate, and I'm like, "I got you. Like, I've been there, done that. Don't worry, I've been through hell and back. So I'm on the other side of it." And when you have a strong leader, anything is possible. And um, just you are the keystone of your family and the ecosystem. So just remember that you're really, really important.
That's powerful. And we need people like you that are expanders, that
Yeah.
have been there, done that, through it, on the other side, and flourishing and thriving. Thank you, Heather, so much. And
You're
thank you to
welcome.
everybody that joined us today. Continue to check out all that Heather has to offer. I know I'll be checking out her membership, and just giving each of you permission to do all that we have kind of explored in this magical 1 hour. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heather.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.